Hello my gorgeous bookish friends, welcome back to the Bookshop by the Sea. This is my tiny independent bookshop in Aberystwyth in Wales. We're about one street away from the sea, and today I'm going to talk to you all about the ups and downs of being a business owner, how I manage the work-life balance, which I've been getting a lot of questions about and I would love to share with you because this is a topic very, very dear and close to my heart, and something that I think that especially in such a busy world we can try and focus and look at how to rebalance that and how we can kind of live perhaps a more full and rounded life as well. So I'm really excited to talk about that, and also just more about the goods and bads about owning a business and how we can balance those within life as well. Okay, I have my tea. Let's talk a little bit about my experience as a bookshop owner. So I would definitely say I can see some of you in the comments are starting your own bookshop or have this dream of owning a bookshop. It is my dream, it's my greatest joy. It's such a beautiful thing within a community, and it's so rare nowadays to have this kind of sanctuary, these liminal spaces where people can come and sit and read a book and have a conversation and spend time and dwell, write poetry, work, but without the pressure of kind of talking to other people or spending money, or obviously it's a small business so supporting it is massive, but to have these spaces where you can have connection in communities I think is wildly important, especially as we see everything kind of going on technology wise. I personally used to be a librarian and I loved it so much. I've done many things in my life, but being a librarian was what I did right before opening the bookshop. And then during COVID, all the libraries were shut down. I was living abroad at the time, working in a library, had to return to the UK, and I couldn't work in a library here because we weren't allowed to have them open. So I thought, okay, well, what can I still do to feed my community? You know, I think at a time like that when there was so much isolation, and you know, in many ways there still is, what can I do? What can I bring? And I thought, well, okay, what I can bring is positive stories. This is what I have to offer. This is what I want to share in the world. And books bring that to me. That's what I feel like, whether it's through any kind of medium of sharing stories, I feel like it's really powerful. And so I decided to open a bookshop because shops were allowed to open in the UK at that point. So I opened a bookshop by the sea, literally by the sea. Like you could throw a stone from the window and get it in the water. And it was amazing. We saw dolphins, people came together, we had board game nights, people had folk music nights, we had poetry readings, and it was just gorgeous. And then one day, because we live in Wales, there was a storm and a wave went over the roof of the bookshop, or would you believe, through the roof, and not only were there leaks, we flooded, and the next day I had to pick up soggy, wet books. And nothing is more disheartening than working multiple jobs, saving up to open a bookshop, and then seeing it ruined overnight. And so I thought, okay, well that's it, that's done. Time for a new challenge, and I'm sure libraries will be open sometime soon, but the community just did not give up. They were like, everywhere I went in town, they were so supportive and asking me continually, when's the Bookshop by the Sea opening again? And I really felt from the bottom of my heart so loved by everyone, but also so encouraged that this is a thing that means something to people. It has value and it has meaning within a community. And so I reopened it where we are now, which is about 5 minutes walk, maybe, if that, maybe 3 minutes walk from the seafront in that direction. And now we have this lovely building that we've been in for 3 years. And it's wonderfully, blissfully dry. I also wanted to show you, I've got this idea for this art. I got this like wedding art. I thought it would be so beautiful to put like butterflies and ivies and old books, like attach old books that are already damaged, beyond repair. We get donations, and to make like a whole book art. I thought that would be really beautiful. So it started. Come in and see the progress. I did also have a quick recommendation that is Jane Austen's Emma. This one had a horrible sticker, and as you can tell, it's a bruised, battered little penguin paperback, but I actually sometimes prefer that. I have many nice copies of my Jane Austen books, but they sit beautifully on a shelf, and the one I actually read is always the battered little kind of paperback that I picked up in a secondhand bookshop like this one. Emma by Jane Austen is one of my favourites by Austen. She's such a relatable character. She's a young woman trying to do good in the world, and it doesn't always go right, and she ends up doing things wrong. And what I love about this book is the character development. She realises, bless her heart, that she's done things wrong, and she tries her very, very best to correct them and to apologise to those she loves. And entwined throughout it is the most beautiful romance between her and Mr. Knightley, who she's known since childhood. So there's this friends to lovers like progression through the story as well, of both of them kind of realising how much they mean to each other and that they are essentially family in a beautiful, beautiful way. And it's just so intricately written. There's 2 films of them already out, one with Gwyneth Paltrow and one newer one that was also brilliant but very different. It's not that big, and it's quite big, but it's quite lovely, and I really, really enjoy it. So if you are looking for a recommendation to read around this time of year, this is one of my favourites. So a daily routine within the work-life balance kind of looks something like this. It's probably waking up, I live in a little cottage, waking up, having a slow morning, having a tea, going for a short walk in the grass, doing some grounding, doing my prayer, having a nice breakfast with some blueberries or some raspberries, something that helps give life back into us. And then maybe doing a bit of writing, doing a bit of reading, going for a slow walk. The bookshop here, we open 11 till 5, and this was such an intentional choice to open later because those mornings of grounding and creativity are really important. So doing that, then it depends on the day, but coming into the bookshop and getting to check in, how are things going? Are we doing something fun? You can kind of see my archway in the background there, just over. We're planning on having a community day soon to redo the outside little courtyard and make it a little secret garden courtyard. So something like that, some project that's going on in the bookshop, or just chatting to customers and doing recommendations, drinking far too much tea, I'm sure. And then when the shop shuts, to also maybe spend an hour doing things like this, maybe being really intentional in doing the invoices, replying to messages, doing social media posts, knowing that our community is not only here but worldwide, and actually including everyone, bringing them into this little slice of heaven and this little slice of bookshop life is really important to me. Then I'll go down to the seafront, maybe walk along the sea, maybe get a hot chocolate, maybe read, or maybe go for a walk in nature and read somewhere else, and then having an evening where I can see friends, meet up with a book club group, whatever it is. I think that that's kind of like a mini day in the life. Let me know as well if you want to do a day in the life of video. I would love to do that with you. And also let me know any questions that you have about work-life balance, because I feel, as I've said, it's so important to me. It's so critical that we take time and breath and rest. And this rest is something I could do an entire other episode on. But rest is so crucial to our bodies, for health, for balance, and that idea that taking a day of rest or a day off, a day of quietude, a day of solitude, a day of reflection with yourself or with family is actually as important as work. And it sets us up really, really well for work. In fact, it's like light and dark. You can't have one without the other. And so being intentional in that is particularly important for me, because otherwise, if I'm not reading the new books, well, these are secondhand, but if I'm not reading books and remembering and reigniting that love for them, then I'm not going to enjoy being in this environment as much as I could. So for me, this is also crucial, to kind of take that quiet time, be in nature, and of course, read lots of books. Okay, I've just shut the bookshop for the day, lights are off, door is closed, and I feel like this is a good time to talk about work-life balance, because this is a challenge. And if you love your work, if you're passionate about your work, it is an even bigger challenge. There is no part of me that doesn't delight in being in bookshops and libraries and surrounded by books constantly. And also with a small business, it can just consume. It can consume and consume and consume time, energy. There's really has to be such a concerted effort to make sure that there is that balance, to make sure that what we're doing in our lives, and I speak for me and for those that I love and want this for, and for you, is to make sure that we're being fed not just by our work, that our identity, my identity, is not only in the bookshop, but that I also have friends and family and other projects that I'm working on, that if something happens, like the flood that I mentioned in the bookshop a few years ago, that doesn't break us, that doesn't pin us down and make us feel unworthy in any way, because we're so much more than what we do. And as I said, I've been a librarian, now I'm a bookshop owner, and I'm currently writing a book. So work-life balance is really important, and especially within a small town. You know, you're here, you're living here very intentionally. And I lived in London for a few years, and I moved out of that system because I wanted to have that slower, more intentional life. I want to go for walks and spend my mornings having a routine where I can go in the woods and go and be in nature and hear the bird song and ground my feet on the grass, and then get to walk by the sea after work and have creative space for projects, you know, like writing my book. And I think that that's essential to me. I think it's essential to a lot of us. And I think how we choose to balance those different elements. We've got work, creativity for me, community, family, spirituality, things that are improving and learning and growing our minds. All of these different elements are really important. Physicality, you know, exercising, being in nature, to have that rounded life. For me as a writer as well, that's something crucial, that I need to have that inspiration, that input back in, because in a bookshop it can be quite exhausting to be constantly talking to other people just because of its nature, you know. I love when people come in the shop and they're telling me about their favourite books, but it is also a lot of people and it's a customer facing job. So having precious moments like this in my bookshop after dark, where I can just be alone and maybe sit in a comfy armchair in the corner with the bear, read a book, moments when I can spend time in nature and balance that, I think is really important. So for me, that's why my staff is so amazing as well. Like, I could be in here every single day by myself, but I think it would be a lot. So getting to write, I've been really enjoying this week. So just today I was writing a Substack, which is the Bookshop Diaries Substack, which is talking again similarly to this, all about like the ins and outs. And I was writing today about that work-life balance and how to manage it well within our lives. I just wanted to also say a massive thank you. People who are commenting on here, people who are telling me what they're reading or where they are watching this from in the world, it means everything. Everything. From a tiny little town in Wales to be able to be sharing and growing. I saw that we've just hit 4,000 subscribers after like just a couple of months of doing this, and I'm so proud and I'm so thankful from the bottom of my heart. So please do subscribe, please do hit that subscribe button, please follow along on our journey on TikTok, Instagram. Please tell your friends, please share it. Like, it means so much to me and it's so encouraging. So if you would like to know more about the bookshop, pop your questions below. We are making a huge long list of everything so that we can answer them. And for now, I'm going to wish you all a wonderful, beautiful, peace-filled week. I believe that for you. I hope you have the opportunity to read a book you love. And if you are doing that, then tell me about it. And I will see you all next week. Remember to watch the other videos and I'll see you every Sunday. Bye.